Hey everybody, it's me, Peter, and today we are going to be talking about Jackie. Now, I know that Jackie didn't win any Oscars, but I did tell someone that I was going to do a review on Jackie, so this is me making good on my promise. Now, I want to talk about the way that grief was shown in Jackie. When I did my review for Manchester by the Sea, I talked about grief in that movie and how they used it and how it was an accurate representation of it. But Manchester by the Sea did a great job of showing what grief looks like. Jackie did an amazing job of showing what grief feels like. And while Natalie Portman's performance had a lot to do with that, I believe that the way that it was shot really helped you to feel what she was feeling. There was a lot of center framing in this movie, and I talk a little bit about center framing in my review for Arrival. Throughout the film, they try and keep Jackie in the center of the frame, a lot of times with people just moving around her. There are a lot of flat, symmetrical shots with her staring directly into the camera, as opposed to her being on one of the thirds of the frame talking to somebody who's on the other side of the frame. This is because she is not having a conversation with people so much as people are talking at her. She is experiencing this grief, she's letting it soak in, and people are asking her questions and they're just kind of talking at her. And the reason why I believe that the center framing was supposed to show this is because of the way that they moved away from the center framing. When you experience grief, you are wallowing in it. And in a lot of ways, she was in shock. But in the midst of that shock, she would have these extremely coherent moments. And when she would have those moments, she would turn her head to the side. The camera also moving to push her head into the side of the frame, giving her look room. Every single time this happened, it was when she was saying something very intelligent. It was when she had those moments of coherence in the midst of all of this grief. It's something that I think you really start to see if you're looking for it. Every single time she's just flatly, blankly looking directly at the camera, it's when she's soaking in all of this horrible tragedy that happened to her. She's soaking in that grief. She's still kind of in shock. And every single time she has that moment of coherence, it's when she turns her head to the side and the camera gives her look room and she's no longer in the middle. She's now having a conversation with somebody as opposed to just existing and having somebody talk at her while she's trying to process everything that's going on. Personally, I am a little surprised that Jackie didn't get a nomination for Best Director. I actually might have replaced Manchester by the Sea's directing nomination with Jackie, but that might just be personal preference when it comes to directing styles. Generally speaking, when there's an obvious style that kind of stands out to me, it's hard not to be a little bit attached to it or protective of it. And I think that that's what happened with Jackie. I think that I saw these very deliberate decisions being made in order to make you feel what she was feeling, and that just stuck with me, and it surprised me that it didn't get more recognition. On top of that, it did lose to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in costume design. Now, I don't know a lot about costume design, but I can understand the concept of imagining up something that's never been visualized before as opposed to recreating an existing wardrobe. And while I don't know enough about one or the other to know which one is more difficult, I was still pretty surprised that Jackie didn't win for Best Costume Design. And in terms of the score, I'm not sure that I would call the score beautiful, per se. Personally, I liked the score from Arrival better, but I do think that Jackie deserved the nomination for its score because it served the purpose of the film better. The score moved you personally toward that feeling of grief. On top of Natalie Portman's performance, on top of the directing, the way that it was shot, the choice of framing, there was a lot going for this movie, and I do wish it got a little bit more attention than it actually received. I do want to mention real quick that the guy that they got to play John F. Kennedy I thought was a dead ringer. Now I want to get into the spoiler review. There's not too much that I want to add because the movie's based on a pretty famous event. Most people know about it. But I do want to mention that there is one time that it became a little bit too obvious to me that Natalie Portman's voice broke. When she finds out that Lee Harvey Oswald has been shot, she gets very mad at Bobby Kennedy for not telling her because she's planning on doing this public funeral down the street in broad daylight, and she felt that him not telling her was putting her and her family in danger. She's yelling at him, she's screaming at him, and she sounds exactly how she sounds in V for Vendetta when she's screaming. And she doesn't sound like Jackie Kennedy anymore. She sounds the same as she always does. That was the only time that I felt like her voice broke. The rest of the performance I thought was amazing. I thought it was an astounding performance. I thought that maintaining that Jackie Kennedy voice on top of showing all of that feeling, showing all of those emotions, I thought that it came across very well. I thought that it reached right out of the screen. I am happy that Emma Stone won the Oscar just because I like Emma Stone. She's great, and I think that she puts a lot of work into her roles. I think that she's very talented actress. But I think that I still probably would have given it to Natalie Portman. So that's what I thought about Jackie. I thought Jackie was great. I do wish it got a little bit more Oscar recognition, but what did you think about Jackie? Just let me know in the comments below. If you liked my review, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.